Hi guys, and welcome to the second part of the HADO China Korea Battle of Champions. Today we're moving into the HADO World Round.
加油加油！我们最为熟悉的三位小朋友对战。
Okay, so anyone that watched the PvP matchup from Friday, obviously there were a couple of technical issues on it, so apologies about that, but skip forward a bit and you can guess all the matches. No, brilliant. So today's tournament is following the same format. So you're going to have a number of the pool stages that we're going to watch through initially, so we get a bit of a feel for how the teams are going, what their abilities like, what these guys are capable of. Before we move on to the finals, and I believe we'll be seeing the same as before. So we see the gold final from Rookie Advanced and Masters as we go through, and obviously we'll get the results from the silver finals at the same time. So HADO World, for anyone that's seen this for the first time, is very different to HADO PvP. Instead of getting that sectional shield, you just get a single life target marker, and that gets smaller and smaller as you get hit. But each player's got special abilities. So these are two Chinese teams, BGR and Dream Strangler. Now, HADO World is China's real forte, so we're going to look at some really nice stuff. So you get all the mods, all that dodging evasion we're seeing there, but we're going to get these extra abilities flying across the court. So these huge, big sort of blasts of energy appearing above their heads. That's what the special ability of one of the characters, and looks like both teams have got two of that character selected. BGR have got a shield player, so someone who can create shields as you would in normal PvP, and Dream Strangler have got the Monkey King, who's able to create those big layers of flame across the ground. Moving through those causes damage to the health of the players. So it's a very aggressive setup from Dream Strangler, lots of damage output. BGR quite a lot of damage output, but that bit of defensive shield work as well to help protect the players. Unlike PvP, where you've only got a specific number of shields, in HADO World, your shield is on a cooldown timer, so actually you can use it multiple times. You just have to wait for the ability to restore. So currently 5-4 to Dream Strangler, 5-all now. So these two team ups are very, very heavy damage orientated with the two big energy blast dealers there. And those huge energy orbs, one, obviously, they're very difficult to dodge, they're huge, but they can pretty much get one-shot takedowns. That's a 6-5 win there for BGR, so really similar playstyle between the two teams. If you saw any of the stuff from the opening matchups between China and Korea last Friday, you'll have seen that the Chinese teams tended to favour towards defensive combinations with healers who restored the life force of the teams, and the Koreans tended to focus towards a lot of damage output. What we're seeing there for the first time, though, from Chinese teams is two teams both really focusing on damage output. Also, what we saw again on Friday, on last Friday, was the teams were only allowed to select a single hero once, and once a team was selected a hero, the other team couldn't as well, so it locked it out. But here, teams are now being allowed to select multiples of the same hero on the same team, and also both teams can select the same heroes. But interesting to see that we're seeing quite aggressive damage output play there from both of the Chinese teams. So as we go through, we're going to see more of these heroes, these graphics that were appearing next to the players' names. And each one of these graphics has got a different set of abilities with it. So blonde-haired character Ryan, that was being played by BGR there. And he uses shields. Said he's a defensive player and how he works. Lin is the healer. Wasn't being used by either team there. Was used very heavily last Friday, though. And he restores the health to the targets of his team. Diana, she is... Make sure I got the right one. So her blows explode upon hitting. Lilian, her shots pierce through shields and other defensive abilities, allowing her to cause damage on the far side. Nicholas is a tank. He has actually additional health, and his special attack steals life force from the opposing players. So he causes damage and then heals himself. Shadow creates a clone on the court who basically mirrors his positioning and attacks his targets, but from different angles and positions. Zoo is the one who creates that gigantic big energy blast up in the air that was being used by both teams there. Hanzo has a stealth ability. I haven't seen him played in the tournament so far. Be interesting to see if he does make an appearance. His ability mitigates damage. Otto, really popular in last Friday's tournament. He creates a drone that moves around high position on the court, firing random shots into the blind sides of the opposing player. Victoria, again, her one explodes on hits and creates a secondary explosion nearby. Wukong creates those big blasts of fire across the ground that creates a damage area effect that if you pass through it while the effect's in place, it causes you to take damage. Eleven has a damage immunity, I believe. Yeah, damage immunity ability for a little while, and now we're back to Ryan again. So teams can pick any mix of these heroes. So rather than just being what we've seen previously, we've got BGR and Heaven back to take court, so we'll slip across there. So what you see normally in terms of HADO PvP is you have obviously shot size, shot speed, energy charge rate, and shields. Here you still have shot speed, energy charge rate, and shot size, but instead of everybody having shields, instead what you have is the character's special ability. And just as with PvP, though, you have those points split between it. So you can focus heavily into a character's special ability, or just have it as a single point backup and be playing a much more standard game. However, each character, because it does get a little bit more complicated, because you haven't got a sectional target marker, you've got a single big life marker that takes damage over time and gets reduced. And as it takes damage, that marker gets smaller and smaller and smaller, so you get harder to hit. However, the size of that marker, the amount of health you've got, varies by character. So the straight damage characters tend to have less health. The more sort of tank style characters have more health. The blasts of energy you're doing, though, the damage characters, their blasts of energy do more damage when they hit. The tank characters, energy blasts, do less damage when they hit. And your crowd control and basically middle range characters, again, they're middle of the road on that. They've got more health than DPS, less health than the tanks, and again, their damage is middle of the road, and they're more for crowd control. So things like the healing character and so on. So there's a lot more variation in how things work. But the biggest difference by not having those sectional targets, having this health marker setup, is that you pretty much can't one-shot somebody. The only variation of that is that gigantic overhead energy blast, which has got that capacity to do that, but it's the only thing that can. Right, here we go. Game on. So we've got a nice split of heroes across the two teams. So BGR and Heaven. There are two BGR teams, by the way, just to make things really straightforward for you. So red team here, we've got shields, we've got big energy blasts, and we've got explosive shots. And on Heaven, we have got healing, big energy blasts, and explosive shots. So we've got a bit of defense and tank work from both sides. Shields for BGR, healing from Heaven. See which one gives them the edge. You see that those green pluses locking around the Heaven team as their healers reactivating their ability and keeping that ticking through. He's got a lot of points in his healing ability as well, so he can be able to activate that on quite a regular basis. Give him quite a quick cooldown on it. 1 point apiece coming in. Because of those healing and tanky abilities, a lot of the HADO World games tend to be a lot lower scoring than HADO PvP matches. So PvP has no way to recover your health once lost. 2-2 now coming towards the final quarter. I mean, it's nice gameplay from both sides. You can see there's those big attacks and shifts being made forwards by the heavy hitters with those huge energy blasts. Fantastic one bomb on the far side there from BGR on the top Heaven player. 5 seconds remaining. So BGR are going to take it. No, 3-3 going to overtime. Great fight back there in the last couple of seconds by Heaven. Again, you haven't got that wonderful thing of all the other team have run out of shields or anything else, because that's just not how this works. 4-3, BGR take it. Heaven kicked the healing in, but unfortunately wasn't able to restore their wounded player quickly enough, and BGR focus fired on him there, taking him out pretty much immediately as it entered into the overtime phase. So we see quite a lot of variation in the tactics here. We've got a lot more, obviously a huge amount of movement going on for the players there, but it's a lot harder to, I suppose, judge where things are going, and that ability for players to restore themselves as well makes it really hard to view where things are going to go, how they're playing through, and how they're going to work. So Friday was interesting that we only saw certain characters being picked again and again. Here we're seeing, actually in some cases, obviously some of the same characters being picked multiple times or being picked by both teams now that restrictions have been moved. So Zoo has got that huge big energy blast, which is clearly nothing like a Rasengan from Naruto, because that would be copyrighted, and it's clear it's therefore nothing like that. Coming out, and obviously it's a really, really popular character because of the sheer amount of damage that attack can do, and the scale of it for getting out of the way. However, it does also mean that while you've got it prepared and ready, you've got that gigantic energy blast floating over your head, so it's really clear what you're going to do. If your opponents could take you out at that point, it would be an ideal time to do so. Also, really a good time again. If you're going to see that come up and you can drop a shield in the way or anything else, it could be a good way of neutralising the effectiveness of that big hit. So the characters that we didn't see at all on Friday, it'd be interesting to see if we see them come out during this today. Key one was the stealth character. Lynn is just coming up on screen now. At healer, we saw him a lot. We saw him just in that match there being used by Heaven. Very, very effective keeping their lifespans up, but just not able to keep up with the damage output that was coming from the BGR team. Diana being used by BGR there for those explosive hits. Lilian really, really tricky against that shield player if they're being used a lot, because her arrow attacks can pierce straight through the shields and hit the person behind the shields. So really useful on that side. Nicholas logically seems to be a really, really good character. He should have huge longevity to him, but not really seen him being played. Shadow and Otto as a combination produce a phenomenal amount of firepower. In fact, if everyone took a mix of Shadow and Otto characters, you're effectively having a 6-player team at that point when they come out onto the court. So really, really intriguing to see how they play through. But Hanzo is the one I've not seen at all, the stealth ability that basically mitigates incoming damage as he's moving around the court. So we're really intrigued to see how that one plays out and if he gets chosen at all. So not having seen him come through. Right, next up, Idol Producer versus Verbi. Idol Producer were the HADO World Champions at Games of the Future in Abu Dhabi, and Verbi are one of the Korean teams. This is our first China-Korea crossover during this section of the tournament.
他们组的冠军。对。哎，那么来到了英雄模式，我们再来回顾到小组赛，再去看一下这3位女将又会给我们带来怎样不同的一个阵容。因为在打普通模式的时候，他们就是一个双盾流，并且是一个非常激进的双盾流的打法。
对，那下午的HADO World模式，他们会不会选出什么出其不意的阵容？我们看一下。
是的，我们拭目以待。我们红色方的这3位，也可以说是老将啊。因为他们也征战过2025年HADO世冠杯的比赛，也征战过。Okay, so get ready for this one. The Idol Producer is Verbi. Didn't see Verbi. I don't remember seeing Verbi play during the HADO World on Friday. PvP style, they were very, very defense oriented. Double shields in pretty much all the games on the PvP. So it'd be interesting if they keep that defensive play here. And no, they haven't gone completely the other way. So it's full out attack here from Verbi. So we've got drones, Wukong for area effect ground damage, and also explosive shots. Idol Producer, again, we've got the big energy blasts, we've got explosive damage, and we've got that ground damage from Wukong. So the ground damage from Wukong can really tick away at life force, but you've got to stay in the area. Also used very, very effectively for when you get a player coming up onto the front corner of the court and dropping it in behind them. So they get in a trap position where they've either got to run through the fire or get try and dodge in a very, very small amount of space. But really, even at this stage, Idle Producer are only just ahead at the halfway mark. So the Idle Producer are effectively the current reigning champions from the last major international at this HADO World. So Verbi only be a point down, and they're doing phenomenally. HADO World is very, very much China's sort of dominant sport. So it's been doing that. So it's a great performance against Verbi against a much stronger team. So just 2 points down now, 10 seconds remaining. 3 points down. I'll just start to push that lead ahead here. Not really seeing as much of the firepower as I would have hoped to see from Verbi. They definitely had that capacity with that set of heroes, but they just didn't really seem to be able to get that level of firepower out there, which is unfortunate. And I think they could have done should have been able to do a lot more with that. But again, what we saw in the PvP, they were very much a defense-orientated team, so that shift to all-out damage isn't the normal format we see from them. So anyone who's with us, any questions you've got, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll try and keep up to date on everything as we're going. So still playing through on all these different champions now, trying to make sure we've all got our heads under them, because it's such a different way of doing things compared to what we're used to in HADO PvP. But HADO World is definitely going to be is a permanent fixture of the tournament scene out in obviously China, Japan, Korea, and we saw it obviously at the World Cup and at Games of the Future last year. So it's going to be making a regular appearance in some of the tournament formats. Just a shame there's no one in Europe that actually has HADO World, but that's a different conversation. However, for now, though, we're going to see this a lot, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays through. There's definitely a difference in the skill sets for it and the way it works. Right, coming next, we have LCG versus Vask. LCG, I believe, are HADO China, and Vask is HADO Korea. So another China v Korea setup. And Vask has some very, very good players on it. Not saying LCG doesn't, but this should be a really good matchup to see how it plays through. Okay, teams coming out onto court now.
非常丰富的选手皮了一下，来部队的3位队员大高个，然后 UI 最后登场的是
Earlier this year, we had the Korean teams over in the UK training with us, which was a fantastic experience. And one of the big things that they do is they've got this whole education program built around HADO, which is amazing. But they've got a part of it is brand imaging, team definitions, everything else. And so what we've seen is a lot of the teams that are players that we know from training with them, who are now parts of new teams. Effectively, there's new team names involved and things like that, because they've moved ahead to the next part of the project. So they've rebranded and restructured their teams. And one bit that's really interesting to see is almost all of the Korean teams have got different sort of specific sort of branded hand gestures. So for Vask, it's a hand coming in from the side, covering part of your face for the mask imagery behind it, and each one of them, if you look through on their promo stuff and quite a lot of bits as they're doing as they're coming out onto court, you'll see the Korean teams using these different hand gestures as part of the branding for the teams. So what have we got here, choices wise? So LCG, we have defensive shields, drones, and energy blasts. And we have energy blasts, ground damage, and explosions from Vask. So it's a lot of firepower from both teams, but LCG the only ones with any defensive element to it. Vask getting pushed up in that top corner, which is quite dangerous, but these guys, their groundwork and dodging is incredible. But first point in for LCG. Vask answering back there. Great takedown there with that huge energy blast. LCG drone popped in. Vask can neutralise it straight away there. Those drones are really, really dangerous to the left unchecked. They move high in your eye line and drop shots in from your blind side on a regular basis. So neutralise them as fast as you can is absolutely key. Great shield position there from LCG. Fast trying to edge the way around it there. Nice use of the ground damage there to drive the shield out of their position as well. 2 points up there for LCG. Vask really on the back foot coming to the last few seconds here. Fantastic one bomb there on the front edge, but just not enough to close that gap. 6-4 win for LCG. Great performance from both teams though. Really interesting to see how obviously what were kind of the demonstration games on Friday were really constrained on what the players could do and how they could choose characters. Now we've had that constraint to pull out. It's really interesting to see how the tactics are shifting around for the teams. Especially use that ground damage blast there to drive the player out from behind the defensive shields. We don't think we saw that at all during the Friday matches. So really, really intriguing to see how that flowed through. So again, really nice play in the way that these characters are being used. And there are a lot more layers to the tactics to it because of each character rather than every player having a shield, each character having this unique ability, and you being able to vary the strength of that ability depending on how many points you put into it. So there's a lot to it in how they work and how they push through on things. So so in terms of how they're coming through, and in terms of the amount of like Lynn there, the healer. If you put 5 points in there, he heals an awful lot more to his whole team than if he heals one, but he heals everybody. Some of their abilities, like that one, aren't targeted, so just activating is enough. You don't have to need to worry where it is, but obviously the attack style ones have to hit the target in order to work. So the drones, the clone player, the healing, really, really interesting abilities because they're non-targeted. You just have to activate them, and they just work from there on out. Shields, obviously, you still have to put them in a useful place, but now we've got a lot of these attack abilities in there, which if they don't hit, they're just wasted. So it's a very different way of looking at some of the abilities, because you can have, therefore, powers that just don't work. Including things as well like the stealth, the damage reduction, and the damage immunity abilities that we've got here. Again, you don't have to target them, so if you're not getting hit, they don't really matter either. So they're kind of negatable in the way that some of them work. So an awful lot of different layers to it, and stuff that we don't encounter here in the UK, not having the HADO world system here. But what we're seeing is the matches here really, really, really nice. Chinese teams definitely seem to have the edge over the Korean teams so far in the pool stage setups, and that this mix of defensive and offensive play starting to come through well. Okay, next up we have Sniper versus BGR. So Bingo Rain, this version of BGR, because there's two BGRs, were definitely the team. Although they weren't the winners of the PvP, they were from a commentary perspective, they were definitely the top team of the PvP section. I think it was just they had so much energy, and the way they played was fantastic. And they were taking matches against teams who were clearly significantly more experienced than them. Really, really brilliant to see them play. So one of the advantages of being the hosts, obviously, is you get to control some of the game graphics, where you got the name tags there appearing above the players before they've finished their login. The gold name tags there for the Chinese teams, just because it looks a bit cooler. And why not when you're the host? So we saw some real interesting sort of trends in the way that things worked. through both the HADO World and the PvP on sort of national scales. That there's definite tendency towards aggressive firepower from the Korean teams and defensive balanced play, more sort of long-term play from the Chinese teams when we were looking at the HADO World. Let's see how we go here. Sniper versus BGR. So Sniper have got big energy blast, they've got explosions, and they've got shields. BGR have shield piercing arrows, explosions, and big energy blast. So BGR have gone full out on damage here, and they've correctly predicted against the shields. I haven't seen the shield piercing, so those green arrows that come out used against the damage and vulnerability or damage or stealth abilities, but I would guess they'd probably pierce through those as well. But having attacks that can shoot through your shields is not a helpful thing when you're the defensive team here. So 1-1 at the moment. Great work from both sides. So Sniper are absolutely bang on, but you see a BGR, their groundwork, their movement, absolutely brilliant. BGR now ahead by a point, 2-1, 20 seconds remaining. That was a great win there from BGR. Fantastic groundwork and movement. So I've seen some really, really nice gameplay there as we're coming through the pool stages. So for anyone who didn't see the PvP format on this, this is operating the same. So we have 3 divisions. We have Master, Advanced, and Rookie. And there are 10 teams in each division, split into 2 pools of 5. So it's a 30-team tournament that's running here. Therefore, a lot of the pool stage matches being split across the other courts at HADO Shanghai, so we're not going to see those. We only get to see the master stage matches, and I don't think we actually see from what we saw with the PvP. I don't think we'll see all of those either. We're just going to see the ones taking place on the main stage, and that some of those are going to be Pool A and some will be Pool B Masters teams. Once all the pools are completed, the top Korean team from Pool A and the top Korean team from Pool B will then merge together to form a new super team, and they'll play the top Chinese team from Pool A and the top Chinese team from Pool B as the opposing super team, and that's the gold final. Second place teams play off for the silver final, and then you get that for both the Masters, the Advanced, and the Rookie stages. So we get 6 finals in total. I believe again, if it's going to be like they did with the PvP, we'll see the gold Rookie final, gold Advanced, and the gold Masters final. However, all gold finals, irrespective of whether it's Master, Advanced, or Rookie, are worth 2 points towards the nation's score, and all silver finals are worth 1 point towards the national score. So there are 9 points available in total for each nation's score. PvP setup, Korea took all 9 points. So although they got completely whitewashed in the opening HADO World setup on last Friday, the PvP part of this tournament, Korea took all 6 of the finals, so took all 9 national points. Obviously, we're expecting to see if not a complete flip of that, a very significant flip of that situation coming out of the HADO World. Because Korea are definitely stronger in PvP than China, whereas China are definitely stronger in HADO World tactics and training than Korea are. Both teams get themselves prepped and ready for this next pool stage match. Wait for the referee to signal the all ready. And I'm still very, very jealous of that massive LCD screen they have across the entire back wall there. So from a production standpoint, that is phenomenal. You know anyone who feels like sponsoring us here at HADO Commentary with who happens to be an LCD manufacturing company and would like their name mentioned a lot and wants to give us a big screen like that, we'd love to hear from them. Here we go. RGB versus BGR. This is a commentator's nightmare. So, Korea on the red and China on the blue. So RGB on the red there have explosive damage. They've got large energy blasts and they've got drones. And BGR in the blue there, we have the large energy blasts, explosive damage as well, and shields. First point in for blue. BGR have got one match win under the belt so far. For RGB, this is their opening game. Point scores both ways there. We're on the halfway mark, just a single point lead for BGR. See, basically, as special powers are activated, you get flames around the feet of the player on the court, and you also get sort of a burst of energy around their character name as well, at the base of the screen. BGR extending the lead now, 3 points up, 15 seconds remaining. It's really, really hard. Scoring in HADO World is much tougher than a HADO PvP, so any kind of points difference is significantly harder to overcome. And that's basically due to the nature of the defensive abilities that come through. 5-2. Very definitive win there for BGR. Great play from the RGB players, but BGR clearly showing significantly better use of the character abilities. So for those watching the stream at the moment, again, if you want to drop any comments in chat, thoughts on these different heroes, whether you choose the same ones, whether you choose different ones, whether you think there's any abilities that would really add to gameplay that currently aren't represented in any of the existing heroes. We're definitely still seeing this this dominance in the HADO world of the Chinese teams here. It'll be interesting to see whether that maintains through into the finals. So the PvP finals were very, very different, not just in the way they played through, but the formatting. So they were all operated for the PvP. They were operated as a best of 5 format. However, the opening game was a 1v1, then it was a 2v2, then a 3v3. And you couldn't use the same player twice in any of the 3 opening matches. So all 6 of the team for the super teams got to play in those opening 3. And obviously, if you won those straight 3, that was it. It was over because it was a best of 5. It then went to 2 more rounds of 3v3 with again restrictions on who you could play. Now, a lot of the Chinese tactics very, very well based around this 3v3 format. We haven't seen how they play in the 2v2 and the 1v1. And I think those formats where that maneuverability and accuracy that we see from the Korean players during the PvP could very well prove to be a big strength in those games when we get there, and can make it much harder than expected for China to take the win in this second phase of the tournament. I just went for the next set of teams to make their way out for the next round on the HADO World. So it shouldn't take too long before we're back out. So here we go. Dream Strangler versus Idol Producer. I'm still slightly concerned by that team name. So these are both Chinese teams. Obviously, Idol Producer are the current reigning international champions for HADO World, winning Games of the Future in Abu Dhabi in December last year. They also comprise several of the HADO China coaches, which means that teams coming against them have all been trained by them. Obviously gives HADO producers the advantage of knowing the tactics and abilities of the other teams, also gives the other teams that real sort of drive to try and beat their coaches. Here we go, game on. So, Dream Strangler have drones, explosions, and large energy blasts. And HADO Producer have drones, shields, and explosions, I believe. So Dream Strangler ahead by a point here. HADO Producer's stuck right that front line there, just being able to snipe away. Two points apiece now, going up on the halfway mark. Dream Strangler trying to use those big energy blasts to get him some immediate takedowns. Drones both sides, popping shots away. The drone's that sort of orange and green robotic thing with the little rope blades hovering above its head on the front lines, and they shift around left, right, and front lines and fire diagonal shots in onto the opposing team for you. 10 seconds remaining. HADO Producer ahead by 2 points now. It looks like they've pulled this back away from Dream Strangler. Dream Strangler putting a lot of pressure on the start there, but HADO Producer just locking things down, especially those useless shields. Lamb just sit on that front line and snipe. And Dream Strangler just really not dealing with those shield positions effectively, allowing HADO Producer to just constantly chip away at them and put those points ahead. That use of shields to mitigate incoming damage that HADO Producer had being enough really to slow down the Dream Strangler attacks. And move on through to take the game. Again, neither team there taking healing though, so whatever damage was going in was staying, and they didn't have any way to sort of mitigate it or repair from that in any way. So coming up next, we have Heaven versus LCG. So it seems really good play from both of these teams already. Heaven, I believe, are the only ones so far to have really engaged or effectively in use of healing. Be interesting to see if they stick with that tactic coming into this match. So yeah, this is a China versus China matchup. Because there's disparity in the number of teams, there are 12 Korean teams and 18 Chinese teams in a 30-team tournament. That each of the pools of 5 teams has 2 Korean teams and 3 Chinese teams in it. So obviously the China versus China matches are therefore significantly more common, as there's only 1 Korea versus Korea in each pool. But said when talking about the PvP and the initial HADO World Opening ceremony, the fact that Korea's got 12 teams at this level and China's got 18 is phenomenal. The amount of new blood they've got coming in, the new players, the skill level they're playing at is really, really stunning to see. And The rest of the world have certainly got our work cut out if we're going to keep pace with them. So Heaven again, we have explosive damage, we've got big energy blast, and we have healing. LCG, explosive damage, big energy blast, and shields. So the question is, which is, fundamentally, which is going to give your team the better edge? Is it the shielding to mitigate the incoming damage in the first place, or the healing to help you repair what damage you have taken? So first point's in for Heaven though. LCG on the back foot now, trying to pressure to get points on the board. All the Heaven life markers are really shrunk down now. Obviously the smaller they get, the closer they are to being taken out. Heaven's healer doing a lot of work there to try and pull his team's life markers back. Coming to the halfway mark, Heaven still with just that single point lead. LCG still looking at that first score. Again, the LCG life markers being worn down as well. Points going each way there, 2-1. That healer on the Heaven team, centre on the back wall there, really good visibility, lots of dodging area. I think LCG just need to be focused firing him a lot more because he's putting so much work into restoring and rebuilding those life markers for his team and undoing all the good work that the LCG attack are doing. 2 points apiece as we come to the last few seconds. Big, huge miss on that big energy blast there from Heaven. And we're going to overtime. And those healing abilities, they're just horrible in this overtime situation. Yeah, 3-2. Heaven take it. All that work that LCG are doing to try to weaken and break down those target markers and the healing ability there on the Heaven team, just constantly restoring and rebuilding those targets, undoing all of LCG's hard work time and time again. I think definitely in what we've seen in the matches so far, that healing ability is a real key power. You've got, fundamentally when that guy's on the court, you need to be focus firing them. You need to be keep them under pressure, trying to prevent them using their ability, or if possible, keeping them knocked out because they are difficult. So next up, Sniper versus Verbi. This is the second one we've seen from Verbi. Sniper, definitely in everything we've seen so far from them, have all been about overwhelming levels of firepower. Whereas Verbi have been very much, in the PvP side, they're very heavily defensive. They were playing a double shield and assassin tactic in all the games there. But they went heavy firepower in the first one, the HADO World ones we showed them in. Be interested to see if they stick with that, or they shift to the more sort of defensive play style that we saw in the PvP. Please wait for the referee to signal the ready. Here we go, game on. So again, Verbi have gone all out on the aggression. So Sniper starting for them. We've got big energy blasts, we've got the explosion damage, and we've got the ground burn for the damage over time. And Verbi have also got the ground burn. They've got the explosive damage, and also they've got the drones. First point in for Sniper, though. Second one in for Sniper. It's really interesting to see this big shift in tactics from Verbi, though. Going from defense in PvP to all-out offense here in HADO World. 3-1 though currently to Sniper. Verbi on the back foot again, just coming up on the halfway mark. I'm really not sure this all-out attack for Verbi is properly working for them. They seem so much more relaxed playing that defensive format in the PvP. It's really surprising they haven't carried that format through into their HADO World playstyle, especially when we know that the defensive play in HADO World is it's actually more effective than PvP. So 10 seconds remaining, 5-4, single point in it. Can Verby pull it back, or is Sniper going to hold out for the win? 6-5, 5 seconds. 7-5, that's going to be it for Sniper. 2-1, game win for Sniper. That was a really great fight from Verby though. Huge explosive sort of comeback on the point scoring there in that final quarter from them. Really, really chasing hard on the heels of Sniper and getting pretty close to catching them. So from what we can see so far, the Masters teams really, really good. Definitely overall edge towards the Chinese teams though against the Korean teams here in the Masters division. What we don't know, obviously, because we won't know as we start to see the finals. We don't know how that's playing through, how it's looking in the advanced divisions or the rookie divisions. Okay, next up. So Korea v Korea, RGB versus Vask.
上午的比赛，相信各位在座的观众朋友们也对他们有很多的一个了解了。我现在上场，来自 RGB 现在是他们冠军队伍，对阵的是瓦斯克，是的，对，中文念瓦斯克，这边上场的，就是三位，这个上金刚上威慑力就选手啊，然后红色方。
There's definitely a shift in tactics as well when we see the China-Korea teams play off against other, as opposed to China-China or Korea-Korea during the pool stages. Because they're very used to playing against their own home nation teams, and we see a lot more. I suppose almost a lot more aggressive play in terms of the character picks and everything else when they're playing against each other than we do when they're playing against teams from the other nation. 那么这个小组赛也是他们唯一一场可以碰面的一个内战，韩国内战，后边可能他们就要携手去进行比赛。好的，我们现在红色方 RGB 对阵蓝色方的瓦斯克。Okay, so wow, so shields, healing, and explosive damage from RGB. Vask had gone with shield, explosive damage, and giant energy blasts. Giant energy blasts on Vask and healing on RGB are the only ones with any serious sort of point investment there behind them. Current 2 up for Vask. RGB getting really pushed back here. Vask player doing a really good job there. Got caught with one of the explosive charges. Managed to get themselves well clear of the rest of the team before it detonated. So those explosive charges, when they hit, they stick to the player's life target, and then after a short time down, they explode, doing additional damage and also damaging other players in the immediate vicinity. 3-all currently. Really, really tight game. This one, 10 seconds. See that healer on the RGB time really, really pulling the weight there. Great one bomb there from Vask to pull it back for the overtime though. That massive energy blast there, straight into the centre player. Shields up every special firing pretty much simultaneously from the players there. RGB desperately trying to restore their health. That shield player, RGB on the far side, he's currently definitely their weak link. Vask with no clear, obvious target for someone to go at. big hit there on the on RGB on the front line, and they've got him. Huge energy blast, and then the sticky bomb following after it. Timer ticked down on the sticky bomb, and that took the win there for Vask.
有人问这个是什么啊？这个是哈斗运动，它是把运动跟游戏结合到一起的。It's
a real interesting sort of loop on that. It's almost second nature after you take a big hit. So that's some kind of big energy blast hit or something else that you kind of pause and stop. Vask were using that, dropping that big energy blast in to cause the damage, and then following it straight away with the sticky bomb. So the players getting hit with the sticky bomb, no chance for their healer to restore enough life for them to be able to survive when that blast went off, taking them out of play. Right, so we've got some of the finals now being decided. Finals still on pause stage. This is going to be the advanced final, Group A and Group B. So again, we've got these merged teams coming through, which are the combinations of the teams. Obviously, we've not seen the advanced teams play, so we don't know what kind of ability these guys are at or how the pool's actually played through. We just know these are the merged teams that are being that are coming out of them to go ahead. So it'll be interesting to see how they play, especially if we get these the 1v1s and 2v2 games again, because I think we're going to see some very different heroes and characters coming out, because that format is going to alter what's useful to you. So being able to heal your whole team's not really that useful anymore. Being able to shields not that useful when you're on your own. Drone's pretty handy because it's a second player. Clone's pretty handy. Vampiric ability is probably pretty handy, but that big energy blast that can try and get you that one bomb, that's very, very similar to the sort of sniper style you see in the 1v1 PvPs, where players go for sort of a big fast shot, but basically no points to charge or shields. So anyone that's used to playing that style, that's going to be a very tempting build to look at as well. So it's going to be quite intriguing to see where that goes. But next up, we do still have some of the these pool stages to go through. So we have BGR, Bingo Rain versus Idol Producer. This is definitely a Masters versus Apprentices. Let's see if BGR can manage to take a game from Idol Producer. So we've seen great stuff from BGR in all of their games. Obviously we know how good Idol Producer are at HADO World, so it'll be really interesting to see these two facing off against each other. I think Bingo Rain very reminiscent of a lot of the younger teams here in the UK, and the work and effort they've put in to try and overcome their coaches here, which has now paid off. It's a very similar setup. So, got first winning out for the clone. So BGR, we have large energy blasts, we have sticky bombs, and we have clones. Idol Producer, we have shields, healing, and giant energy blasts. So BGR really going all out in damage. Idol Producer going for defense, restoration, real long-term game strategy. First point in for BGR. Straight out firepower, definitely working out for him. Idol Producer shield getting absolutely rinsed on that front edge. Second point in for BGR. 3-1 now. I mean, Idol Producer's healers kicking those heels in, but He's only got rank 1 in the healing, so he's not actually putting a lot of health back on his team when he does it. And BGR just putting in more than enough damage to overwhelm that small amount of healing. 10 seconds remaining, 5-2. Six two, and that is a definitive win from Bingo Rain against their coaches. After all, idol producers, their job is to produce HADO idols, and I think they're doing a great job here with BGR.
挥超长，一个人拿下19.4的一个评分，3把 MVP。
So fantastic gameplay there. Really interesting to see that. Obviously, I think a lot of the teams previously, when they've taken the healer character, they've put quite a lot of points into that healing ability. It's just like having your shield stat. You know, if you only got 1 point in shields, yeah, you use it now and then, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not really going to affect the outplay of the game. Whereas if you've got 5 points in shields, it can really make a big difference. It's the same here with the powers. If you just, every character's got the power, but if you just leave it as a single stat point, you're basically playing PvP. With a little bit of an add extra, it's not going to have a massive outcome on the effect. However, once you start putting those extra points in, and it ups the level of that ability, that's a different matter then. So coming up next on main court. So we're getting ready for next one to come in. Here we go. So BGR versus LCG. So many three-letter acronym teams. So I've seen loads and loads of good stuff from BGR. Let's see if they can do it again. I've got to admit, again, watching the way they're doing some of the production stuff on this, the way they've got the actual current matches won and lost for each team as they go through on the pool stages is quite interesting. You might see whether it's something we can add as we go through here onto the UK graphics and setup. So, choice of heroes. Shields, explosive damage, and giant energy blasts from BGR. LCG, healing, giant energy blasts, and shields. But very few points in those special abilities from LCG. BGR, the only one they've really invested in is those giant energy blasts. So it looks like they're looking to drop those giant energy blasts there to be their kind of one-shot takedowns, try and win them the game through just that sheer damage from those blasts. Obviously, the standard move and shoot element of HADO can't be ignoring this at all. You know, you're still doing damage with them, you're still causing issue, they're still going to take the players down, as both teams have done there. So it's 2 points, 1 currency to BGR. But obviously part of the fun of HADO World are these extra powers and abilities that just give these unusual edges to things. LCG equalising now, BGR answering straight back again into the final quarter now, 3-2 to BGR. It's a draw, 3-3. Great last minute score there from LCG. Both teams looking fairly healthy on the life markers coming into this overtime point. And a beautiful takedown there from BGR. Managed to clip the far side player from LSG with a bit of a huge energy attack there. So many more game stats when you come through to Idle Wars. We've not got translations on all of them, so I think the main addition is the introduction of the healing stat in there to keep sort of a track on that. So we've got our finalists now for the Rookie Cup coming through now for the gold and silver finals there. Again, we've not seen these guys play yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go. So one of the real nice bits about this is there's no, when that's through to Verbi and BGR coming through on main stage. Well, nice bits about that, you get the same points towards your national score, whether it's a rookie team final, an advanced team final, or a masters team final. So this isn't about just having a top flight team that overshadows everyone. You need to have a real layered level of ability. You need all of your teams at each stage of experience and learning to be operating well if you want to win in this tournament format. So I don't think it's necessarily something we're going to directly replicate here in the UK, but there's definitely some interesting points to take away from it. See how we adapt, especially for things like the Home Nations Championships and things here in the UK, and whether we want to add any of these aspects into them going forwards. But Verbi versus BGR, so Korea on red and China on blue. Got to say, I think BGR are definitely going to this as the favourites to win this particular match. Be interesting to see how Verbi goes. Said everything we saw in PvP from Verbi was very, very defensive. Everything from we're seeing from in HADO World is hugely, is lots and lots of firepower, lots of offensive play. Really interesting switch up in their tactics between the two game formats. Just waiting for the teams to be doing to get that they're prepped and ready to come out onto the stage.
ICE 冰大冰，然后中间是许小雨，最右边是鹏鹏。有人说急死我了，什么时候开始啊？速开始，马上，稍等片刻。选手正在选择自己的英雄和技能加点。这个是什么比赛啊？这个是中韩对抗赛，HADO 中韩对抗赛。那 HADO 又是什么呢？就是你简单理解就是丢沙包。那现在下午的英雄模式，这个沙包呢，你可以选择不同的英雄来去丢这个沙包。那不同的英雄都有不同的技能，比如说有护盾呀，有回血呀，有补 buff 呀，有给自己加 buff 呀，有爆发性伤害呀等类似的一个这样的一个游戏的元素结合到了体育运动当中。那体育运动当中有能够快速的一个闪躲。
Okay, got a really long block on that cover screen there. Just give us a sec, guys. We're going to see if we can figure out what's causing that. It might have been a technical element out there in Shanghai. Okay, so back on court. Hopefully all resolved now. We have Verbi on the red and their opponent's BGR. Hope you can join them. Here we go, on the blue.
加油加油！红色方 Weber 对阵蓝色方冰梅风暴，加油！这一场终于，我们新秀组跟精英组的所有的伙伴都已经回到了主赛场当中来看这场的一个东莞对抗。红色方是来自韩国队，来自首尔 肉俱乐部的 Weber， 他们3位女将 J、No 以及明对阵蓝色方来自我们果汁雨上海果汁雨俱乐部的冰梅风暴，他们是大冰、小雨和鹏鹏3位我们中国的小学生对阵韩国的3位大学生啊。是的，我们直播间各位朋友们一起为我们中国队加油！当然也看一下我们韩国队他们的一个表现啊，看一下他们的表现如何。双方选手还在适应自己的一个设备，没有问题。蓝头这边好像比较亢奋啊，这边好像确实观众越多，他们越亢奋。好了，我们这场红色帮 Weber 对阵蓝色帮冰梅风暴，HADO fight。好的，各位看到红色帮这边已经做好冲突。
Okay, so Verbi, drones, sticky bombs, and ground damage. BGR, large energy blasts, sticky bombs, and clones. 3-1 already to BGR. Verbi taking a lot of damage here in the early stages of this match. Coming up towards the halfway mark now. Verbi really still looking to try and get in. It's another score on the board for Verbi, starting to pull this back slightly. 3-2 to BGR now. Verbi have equalised 3-all. It's a much closer fight than potentially would have predicted this to be. But BGR clone on the front edge there, dropping some extra shots in as well. 4-all now, coming to the final quarter. Some real clean, precise shots coming in from the Verbi players. A lot of points invested into their ground damage ability. I'm not sure it's necessarily doing a huge amount of damage, but it's definitely controlling the field of play. BGR take it though, 6 points to 5. That was, I've got to admit, having watched how both teams have been playing so far in the HADO World, I expected that to be a much more one-sided game. I thought BGR were going to quite clearly dominate there. Verbi put up a fantastic performance though, really causing BGR to struggle for that one. So we've got those rookie finalists sorted and resolved now. We've got our advanced finalists sorted. I think we're just waiting on the declaration for the Masters teams to see how the gold and silver finals there are going to be playing out. Okay, here we go then. So, rookie gold final. China versus Korea. So, said these the final teams are amalgams. So it's the from each category, it's the top teams from their Pool A and Pool B that come together. There are multiple there are multiple BGR teams though. So just because there's BGR in the rookie doesn't mean there's not a BGR in another category. So these are, I believe, being played through as a best of 5 format, same as we were with PvP, but we'll confirm that as we go through. I think it's quite a complex format they've got, but it does mean that they really does maximise the number of players, games for each player, and makes it very hard for any player to sort of be left out or cycled out as a sub and not get their chance to shine on the court. So there's a lot of positives to it. It's just quite complex in the way that especially as we get to the finals, for how the team selections go and the options the teams have got available to them. So 1v1, China, Korea. I'm expecting to see some quite different choices here, whether they almost ignore the character special powers and really focus on their more classic sort of PvP move and shoot, or whether we're going to see some different characters being chosen, because obviously a lot of the regular kind of team support characters aren't going to be valid or really usable in this kind of format. There also expects to be a lot of those the big energy blasts coming out as a character point. Okay then, opening game of the Gold Rookie Final. Definitely curious to see how these character choices are going to go. Whether people are going to have invested much more into their classic move and shoot rather than the character abilities, or if we're going to see some totally different characters start to come out because of the format change to the 1v1. Okay, so we have shields on red versus, I believe that's damage immunity on blue. Both only got a single point in their special abilities though. Oh, beautifully timed there from the Korean player. Shot just coming through as the Chinese player shield despawned. So damage immunity that the blue player has, the Korean player has, basically works like a shield, but it stays with them and only protects them, but also lasts for less time than the shield does. Nil-nil. Chinese players getting work, definitely slowly weakened there. See the size of their life marker really reducing. Korean player basically taking very little, if any, damage. Beautiful timing there from the Korean player on that damage immunity. Chinese player just barely hanging on there. Not a lot of life marker left in player at all. Coming to 5 seconds now. Korea's got him. 1 point, 1-0. There's no way China's pulling that back. And that's it. First game win of the finals goes to Korea. So that damage immunity really playing well here in that 1v1 format. Because it meant you can keep all of your maneuverability. Also that high risk point when you come up towards the center line. And there is obviously such a high chance of you being clipped when you move up towards the center line point, because the reduction in distance, that damage immunity just mitigating that risk, allowing you to pile right up there, giving you that second, 2 seconds where you know that you can get to a position or attack in against an opponent without that inherent risk of getting hit there. So next up, we're going to have the 2v2. So first time seeing the damage immunity player come out and watch what we've seen today. Be interesting to see if we get any other first timers, or at least less well used characters coming through in the 2v2 format. Okay, so 2v2, China red, Korea blue. See if we're going to get any different choices on the characters. Here we go. So, Wukong and Sticky Bomb. So, ground damage and Sticky Blast from China. Big Energy Blast and Healing from Korea. And Korea put a lot, stacked everything into those special abilities there. Ground damage of Wukong's got a lot, but if you can get out of the way of it, it mitigates it. So, I'm not sure that's going to be a great points cost from China, but Korea were an absolutely all out on those special powers. China, however, with the first point score. Great work so far on both teams, though. 1 point apiece. 2-1 now to Korea. That Korean healer working overtime to try and restore their life markers. Constantly dodging away from that ground fire from China. And that's it. Korea takes it 2-1. That's 2 games so far in this opening final. Remember, it's a best of 5, so you only need to win 3 to take the whole final match. Right, so next up, we're going to go to our 3v3. So this has to be the players that have not played so far in this final. So when we had with the amalgamated teams, it was quite interesting to see the ways different people approached it in the PvP. For whether they had the single player and the two player team, 2 player groups come from the same team, or whether they and therefore had a distinct team for the 3v3, or whether they used people who were just better at single player or 2v2, and then created an amalgamated team for the 3v3. If it goes to a 4th round, 3v3 in the 4th round are the players who didn't play in the 1v1 on the 2v2. So again, they're still being the rookie level. These are all players that we haven't yet seen play, so be interesting to see how they match up against each other. And again, without knowing the pools they were in, we don't know whether these guys have already faced off against each other in the pool stages, or whether they're in different pools within the category. So China need to win this to stay with a fight in the fight for the rookie final. Korea needs to take this to win the rookie final outright. So let's look at the hero choices. We have drones, we have shield penetration, and sticky bombs from China. We've got sticky bombs, energy blasts, and giant energy blasts, and healing from Korea. First point in for Korea. Second point in for Korea now. Korea really in control of this one now. Korean healer doing a fantastic. We've got 5 points in healing now, so they're putting a lot of health back onto their players. Korean player taking too long. They're building up a big energy blast, got caught by China. But Korea's still ahead now, 3-1. 4-1 now. China fighting back bravely, but they're just not able to close that gap down. Maybe I just jinx it there. 4-3 now. Centerline drone not managed to do a lot of damage, but definitely absorbing some shots, giving a little bit of protection to the Chinese players behind it. Fantastic one bomb there on the Chinese player on the front edge from Korea there. 6-3 finish there for Korea, and that is the rookie final going to Korea. Now, Korea clean sweeped in the PvP. They took all the gold and silver finals. So of the 18 points, national points available for this overall tournament, between the PvP and the HADO World, Korea have already won all 9 of the HADO PvP points. So China were really looking to get points on the board here on the HADO World, that being their speciality. But Korea have already denied them that.
同时呢，我们也是为我们中国的小选手们千万不要气馁，不要放弃，我们也是要，是这样的，体育竞技就如此的残酷，有输有赢是常态，怎么？
So we're not getting to see the silver finals, but China took the silver final in the HADO World. Korea took the gold, which you just watched there. So moving on now to the advanced. So overall, it's currently 2-1 in favour of Korea in HADO World, 11-1 in favour of Korea in the overall tournament. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Sounds like it's just started rain outside. Got a bit of echo going on the roof above us. So just like in the rookie, the advance will be watching the gold, not the silver. Obviously, we'll get the results of the silver final, and we'll be going playing to that 1v1, 2v2, and the 3v3 format. If there's not a clear winner at the end of that, it then goes to a second 3v3 and then a final 3v3 to get to the end of the 5-match loop. So we'll have a best of 3 result by the time we get there. And here we go. Our team's coming out now to take the bows. So this is the amalgamated 6-player team. Again, China on the red side, Korea on the blue. So these are our Advanced Cup gold finalists.
Moose 这边是亨瑞、N 以及 Soha。 木这边是艾利克斯、魏以及宋。S 跟孙兴民我比较喜欢的一个韩国球星是同款的。
Let's pick up on the audio. It's getting very, very weathery outside. The lovely Easter storm is starting to catch up with us here. So as before, it's going to be started off with a 1v1. We saw Shields versus Damage and Vulnerability in the rookie final. It'll be interesting to see what the advanced teams choose to go with.
现在已经开始了，6v6啊，6v6，现在是精英组的6v6，双方选手的一个 V 来了，又是 QQ
solo 上场的又是田径游骑兵的 QQ，Yes Kai，一位非常帅气的小选手
凯 KAI，
嗨
对的，果然是6v6啊，这两个选手的年龄差距比较大，但是呢，在比赛的一个水平上来讲，那就说不准了。我们期待一下 QQ 在这个1v1的 solo 上，期待一下他们的发挥，能否有一个非常好的一个表现，在英雄模式上选择英雄的一个重要性不言而喻。这个1v1的一个比赛，让我们先有请红色方来自我们中国天津HADO 天津游骑兵的 QQ， 加油！现在是来自韩国光州准备的
1v1 players. Yeah, China versus Korea.
这个是HADO 比赛啊，科技运动。
Let's say the accuracy, the maneuvers around court, evasion, dodging work and so on of all the players here. It was absolutely top notch. Really, really impressive. So much of this is actually coming down to the choice of the heroes and how effective you're using their abilities. Okay, so Blue's going for the clones. Okay, so we've got sticky bombs versus clones. So sticky bombs are great, but only if they hit, because that tracks with you. Clone, though, that could be quite intriguing. Sticky bomb straight on target there, though. Doing a huge amount of damage to them there, detonating. Clone causing a lot of chaos there. Nice cross shots going across the court. We need the players really invested heavily in that special move, but that sticky bomb definitely causing trouble there for the Korean player. China ahead by a point now. I understand the logic from the Korean player there, trying to get using the clones to create the cross shots for them. Sticky bomb straight on target again there. Not even sure the Chinese player's been hit yet. Life marker looks pretty much intact. Getting straight on there with the sticky bomb. Second point in for China. And again with the sticky bomb. I think she's been given far too much time to aim, get that attack lined up. Absolutely dominating play here from the Chinese player. 3-0, 5 seconds remaining. And he's landed the sticky bomb again. Oh, that was so close to being a fourth point in for China as well. The Chinese player's life mark has been wound down and down, but Korea was just unable to use that clone to create the crossfire to lock him down. Those bombs just time after time going off and cutting their way through the health there of the Korean player. So some really interesting play. I mean, sticky bombs, very, very useful tactic anyway, but it seems used so precisely there. Really wasn't particularly concerned about the crossfire from the clone. He was dodging and evading around it quite easily, and just giving himself time to line up and land those sticky bombs straight on target time after time. So very, very effective use of the ability there. So 2 versus 2.
红色方出场的是 QQ 的队友，QQ 的队友 CAK 和草莓。
也是来自天津的两位选手。
是的，蓝色方的两位好像压力有点大啊，跟之前的选手上场对比起来。
So some very different, interesting tactics in both the 1v1 so far. 2v2 from Rookie wasn't too dissimilar to what we'd seen in the 3v3 elements. See if we can see anything new at the advanced stage.
来，我们一起来一场这场2v2，游骑兵能不能因为 QQ 的这一波非常进入状态的一个1v1首胜，也延续着这场胜利呢？
Looks like our players are pretty much good to go.
加油！比赛正式开始。
Here we go. Game on.
维多利亚对上
Okay, sticky bombs and large energy blasts, both sides. So matched choices.
阵容，但是英雄的技能加点不一样。草莓这边维多利亚3412，蓝色方的3511，维多利亚双方技能都空掉的情况下，哇，就看普通攻击，红色方手里还捏着元气弹，也被艾利克斯躲掉。艾利克斯这一波丝滑走位，躲掉红色方两个技能，并且炸弹刷掉。
Really good evasion from both sides, weren't making those attacks very easy. Great double team from the Korean players there. Sticky bomb and then energy blast onto their heavy damage player on the Chinese side. He's struggling again now. He's really low on health coming in there. Having to dodge and shift around dramatically, really taking his own shots off target as well, limiting the damage that he can inflict. Second winning for Korea. Really focusing on the heavy damage Chinese player. The Chinese sticky bomb player just not able to really get any kind of meaningful targeting. Beautiful one bomb on that far side. 3-0 now. China really struggling here. 10 seconds left. And they've got the bomb on him again on the far side. 4-0. Those sticky bombs are just brutal in these low number games. I mean, I know they were being used in 3v3s, but they just didn't seem to be this dominating and brutal. But in the 1v1s, 2v2s, absolutely tearing their opposing teams apart. So that's 2 straight wins there on the Korean side. So we're looking to see what happens as we go now into the 3v3 here. 3v3 of the Advanced Cup.
马上开始了，等裁判上场。侧锋，杨子阳、看国艺、贾跃林，加油！
Again, China need to win this one to stay in.
以及 AINN， 加油加油！希望他们能在这场3v3的正面对抗当中，我们中国队能够拿下这关键的1分。叶林，过来，友好的握个小手，非常的有意思啊！这也是能够体现出来我们中韩的这样一个。
We're going to see another gold team final there. Go to Korea.
希望能够长久维持这样的一个关系。来，双方选手做好准备。
Okay, so I think the sticky bombs and large energy blasts are definitely the 2 preferred special abilities. We've got drones on the Chinese side for this one. Here we go. Yeah, drones, energy blasts, and sticky bombs from China. And Korea, we have healing, sticky bombs, and energy blasts. It's a bit of a reverse from what we saw in the opening match, in the opening Friday games. Korea now favouring the healing abilities over straight damage output. First points in for China. Korea invest a lot in the healing as well, so China doing a really good job there to overcome it. Korea on the board now as well, point apiece. It was a great takedown from a sticky bomb there. Bombs landing from both sides. China ahead now by point, 2-1. 30 seconds remaining. 3-1 to China now. Korea on the back foot here. 20 seconds. We're going to get a China win and push this through to a fourth round. 10 seconds. Korea score again, 3-2, 5 seconds remaining. China's player on the far side is low on health, but he holds out. 3-2, China take the win. Very, very well fought game there from both sides. So some happy commentators in Shanghai there. Chinese team, they're doing really, really well in that game, holding on to get that win. So let's using our magic of being able to control some of the timelines, skip it forwards. So next 3v3, so round 4. So China back in the fight on the advanced gold advanced final. See if they can keep pushing and try and take this one away from the Koreans. Expected the HADO World to be HADO China's real stomping ground, where we're going to see them taking tournament win after tournament win from the Koreans, but it's just not how it's paying out at the moment. Okay, so sticky bombs, large energy blasts, and drones. Oh, got referee on court there. Looks like we might have an issue. Yep, so looks like we're going to have a quick reset there. Some sort of technical issue that the referee's dealing with. Referee just doing a quick check on different player headsets. Okay, so we are pretty much all back up and ready to go. Let's see what we've got from these two teams. So, sticky bombs, large energy blasts both sides, drones for China, and ground damage from Korea. Nice combo there on the from the Korean team on the Chinese player on the far side. Caught with the big energy blast and the ground damage at the same time. Second win in for Korea. China looking for that first score. 2-1 now. 3-1. China on the board, but Korea maintaining that 2-point advantage. 3-point advantage now. China really, really under pressure here to get those points on the board fast. But Korea opening that scoreline further and further out of their reach. Some really, really great work from both sides here. Absolutely on point with the evasion work. 6-3 now. 20 seconds remaining. China with a huge amount of work to do here if they're going to catch the Koreans. 4-6, 5-6. China are doing it. 10 seconds. Can they get another point on the board? 5 seconds. Korea have added another one to the score. That's going to be too much now for China to catch them. That is 7-5. China take the game. Need to double check, but I believe that might be the match and the advanced gold final as well. They are all going to Korea. But really, really great play from both sides there. You can see the tension there on the Chinese commentators. So I'm going to run away from them again for a sec so we can move things forward a little. Yeah, no, it is going. Yes, it is two games piece. So we're going to a game 5, a 5th round decider in the Advanced Cup. So that's the. That might be the only one of the finals that's actually gone as far as round 5. So really, really close here. So I believe. So for the fifth round, I believe you can place you're controlled effectively in the first few about who you can choose. I believe for the 5th round you have an open choice as the teams for which set of players go out for the 5th and final round. So our first, I think, full decider game. So two games so far for China, 2 games for Korea. Final deciding match. The players in sort of early practice there, so we can see. So we have big energy blast and sticky bombs both sides, drones for China, ground damage for Korea. So let's repeat the stats from round 4. Oh, Chinese player got caught badly there in the Wukong ground damage. Took a lot of damage from that he shouldn't have had to take. Misjudged the position on court and it's cost him there as he's been KO'd. First win in for Korea. One of those problems, especially if you've got the players who like to use the high head flicks. That ground damage is completely outside your vision, and if your opponents can time it right, you can be trapped in it. as long as you're in line with it, you're taking damage. 2-1 now to Korea. 3-1 to Korea now. About to score again. Sticky bomb on the player on the near edge. Got him again. 4-1. China really struggling here. very interesting to see how Korea are using that ground damage there to cause absolute devastation to the Chinese team, really knocking the life markers down, making them easy on the takedowns. 5-3, Korea take it, and that is the Advanced Cup gold final going to Korea.
是的，精英组争霸赛的这关键的2分，也拿下了他们的属于自己的一个奖杯，恭喜他们！啊，他们确实越打越好，发挥的越来越出色。
他们的配合还有身法上面都是哇，值得我们学习。但是
That was a really, really great matchup of teams there at the advanced level. Let's hope the Masters Division can live up to what they've just shown us.
可能觉得我们这个比分不会战胜对方，但是依旧坚持到最后1秒钟，能拿多少分是多少分，绝对不放弃。Never give up。
哇，是这样的，那也是没关系。我们再次感谢我们刚刚上场的6位小将，
都不容易。
Okay, so looking now move to the advanced final. Sorry, the Masters final. So, Idol Producer only made it to the silver. Well, we said Idol Producer were the top team there at Games of the Future. So that's Bingo Rain leading the way against Vask. So China versus Korea in the one-on-ones. I've seen Jinu play here in Coventry actually, in both in 3v3s and 1v1s, and he is an exceptionally good player here. But these Bingo Rain players have just been absolutely storming this tournament, so it's very, very hard to see how this one's going to go. So Bingo Rain in heaven in the gold final as a combined team versus Sniper and Vask. So that is a really, really good combo. The BGR in heaven tactically have been absolutely bang on every match. Their use of abilities, the mix of characters, really, really good. Sniper and Vask both super accurate, incredibly agile in their play. So it can be very interesting to see how that works. I'd say definitely the Chinese teams here have got the tactical edge. Korean teams have probably got the athletic edge. But not that much either way. But there's definitely the stronger points of the two groups. So it'll be very intriguing to see how that matches up in this final. And that Verbi RGB team and Idol Producer BGR silver final has already happened. So we'll be picking up the results from that as we go forwards. But currently, just waiting on this transition across so we can get the gold Masters final underway. And here we go. Teams getting ready to come out now. This is it. Masters Division Gold Final. The Premiership matchup of this tournament. Let's see what these guys can show us. So we already know our 1v1 selections. Expecting a lot of motion and movement in this one. So just looking at the score being shown on the back wall there, 13-2. So that looks like two silver final wins there for China, and two gold win as there for Korea. So it looks like the Masters silver final result hasn't been added to the scoreboard on the back yet. Okay, lots of nice motions we're expecting in the opening plays here. Drones from Korea, shields from China. Very evenly matched at the moment. So unlike PvP, the shields here don't run out. They're just on a cooldown timer. Neither player's really invested a lot in their shields, in their special abilities. They're both very much on their sort of movement sheet stats. But I mean, those even so, that Chinese shield there definitely causing issues for Korea. And the Korean drone really not picking its weight up much there. Chipping away at the shields a little, but not really doing a lot else. 10 seconds. Thanks to the rookie final in the PvP that went to a 0-0 overtime. Looks like we're about to get the same here in HADO World. First score, that's all it's going to take. Korea waiting for the drone to wear the Chinese shield down before launching their attack. That shield still causing huge amounts of difficulty there for the Korean player. Chinese player very slowly chipping away at the Korean life marker. Slight edge at the moment. Korean life marker now distinctly smaller than the Chinese player. Got to start getting some hits landing home. Dodging and evasion work with the Chinese players phenomenal. And that's without the shields. I can understand why the Korean side are having such a difficulty landing those hits. Oh, two clean hits there from China onto Korean life marker. Korean player in a lot of trouble here. It's a big difference in HADO World. You don't run out those shields, so that shielding ability just constantly ticking in again and again. It's making such a huge difference to the gameplay. Korean player in huge difficulty here. One more hit, by the looks of it, is all he's going to be able to take from that from the Chinese player. Great shot in there from Korea onto China life marker, but he's still got so much more health left. The shield goes up again. Oh, Korea survived that hit. I thought he was going to be gone after just one, but he's managed to weather it. But he's got to be on his absolute last legs here. Great hit in there from the Korean player onto the Chinese player. And another clip on the Korean, but still not quite enough to take him out. Korean player biding his time there, waiting for the shield to collapse, but unfortunately, come off cooldown. Chinese player able to get it back up again almost straight away. And he takes him 1-0. That was an amazing fight. Absolute kudos to both players there. That was stunning. 300 meters moved. Absolutely amazing. I mean, that was one heck of a big overtime. But 300 meters moved, that is seriously impressive. Okay, so 2v2 is going to have a lot to live up to off that. Right, so yep, results-wise. So China took all 3 of the silver HADO World Finals. So far, Korea have taken all of the gold HADO World Finals. Just the Masters Finals to the side. As it is now, China have only taken 3 of the available 18 national points. Korea currently with 13 in hand, and the pair of them are fighting over the last 2. So it's either going to be a 13-5 win for Korea or a 15-3 win for Korea. But dominating performance from the Korean teams here. After what we saw on the Friday opening ceremony, where China absolutely dominated all the way through, really surprising to see this complete turnaround of the positions of the 2 teams. So China have taken round 1. See what they can do in round 2. 2v2 China Korea. Well, I don't know how to predict this one. Other than wait to see where they've gone on their choices, really. This is definitely without doubt the hardest one so far to really predict where this is going or kind of get a feel for it. Just waiting for teams to players get themselves ready on court. That 1v1 was exhausting, not just for the players, but everyone watching it. Then they're all in a little bit of time to get themselves ready and back into play. And here we go, round 2. So just got shown there in that 1v1 though, having the shields on cooldown. When your opponent's not got a huge amount of charge rate, that can be nightmarishly hard. They're only just cutting their way through the shields as it comes off cooldown. You're ready to put it up again, and just having to cut through that shield again and again and again and again before you can try and land those hits. Loads of great support from the crowd there in Shanghai. Okay, here we go. So we've got drones and sticky bombs on the Chinese side. We have shields and sticky bombs on the Korean side. Sticky bombs have already done a whole lot of damage to the Korean players. Those sticky bombs against the shields, just nasty. It means it's going to take the shield out, but you can't risk staying too close to the shield because it does have a an area effect blast when it detonates. Just on the halfway mark now, first point on the board to China. Using the sticky bombs there very effectively to drive the Korean players away from the shield defences. 1 point apiece now. Very few points invested in the special moves here. It's mostly charge rate, speed, and shot size. 1-1 comes in the last 5 seconds. Just a single bit of misjudgment by any player is going to cause it. Go 1-1. Going to overtime again. So overtime worked for China in round 1. Is it going to work for them here in round 2? Constant sticky bombs on the shields, really forcing the Korean players to back off from them and not gain the advantage from them that they want to be. Very, very good use of the abilities to counter each other. Chinese players still getting worked down, and that's it. Korea take it 2-1. Chipping away at those Chinese life markers. Finally managing to get the takedown shot in there. So we're now at 1 game apiece. Coming up now next will be the 3v3. So this is Sniper as a whole playing on the Korean side. Vask players took the 1v1 and the 2v2 there. We've got a merged BGR and Heaven team coming out to face them. So much energy left for those BGR players even at this stage. I am so very jealous of that much energy. Okay, so we know neither team can win it straight from here because they're currently a game in hand each. So we're definitely going to be going through to a 4th round. Well, let's see who's going to the 4th round with the advantage. And again, 4th round will be the players from 1v1 and 2v2. So it's going to be Vask playing on the Korean side and be a merged Bingo Rain and Heaven team for China. But game at the moment. So sticky bombs, energy blast, shields on the Chinese side. Sticky bombs, large energy blasts, and ground damage on the Korean side. Ground damage and sticky bombs definitely be good counts against the shields. Ground damage also seems to be really good against players who are head flicking high, because if you're, as long as you're vertically above that ground damage, you're taking the damage. And if you're head flicking high, you just can't see it. So 1 point apiece already. Really, really good, aggressive flying play here from both sides. Chai's blown on top edge in a lot of trouble there. Sticky bomb and a couple of basic hits gone in. It's pretty much out. Yep, they got him. 2-1 now to Korea. answering back again. Again, they're really sort of chipping away at the life marker on the Korean player on the far side as well, and finally took him out. 3-2 for Korea now. 20 seconds. No team really with a clear edge here. No one's able to really get any gap between these two teams. 3-all coming to the final 5 seconds. Sticky bombs in play, and we're going through 3-all. Both teams with two players with fairly healthy, and one player on each side with a badly damaged life marker. So we know he's being targeted from both sides. Sticky bomb ground damage, forcing the Chinese players away from that shield. China take it 4-3. Catch the Korean player on the near side on the cross shot. So that is 2 games to 1 now. Going to the 4th round. China take this. They take the gold final of the Masters division. So we know Vask are a very competent team. We're coming out next for Korea, and they've got to win this in order to take it to the 5th game. But it's bingo rain heaven combo. Both teams really, really good. Just depends on how well they gel together as this amalgamated team going into round 4. So here we go. So we know 2v2 went to Korea, 1v1 went to China, and but everything's so close here. Incredibly well matched final. So China take this, they win the final. Korea take this, they take it to a 5th round. Just wait for the players to finish getting their headsets and gear ready. So I've seen a lot of very similar choices between the two teams in their hero options. So sticky bombs, large energy blasts, and healing from China. Drones, sticky bombs, and shields from Korea. Healing already kicking in on the Chinese side. He's a rank 5 healer as well. It's going to put a lot of health back in there. First one in for China. Korea got to neutralise that healer, and they've got him one. So it's 1 point apiece. Obviously, they need to damage everyone, but they need to stop that healer. He's just undoing so much of their good work all of the time. Second one in for China now. There are some badly damaged Chinese players, and Korea managed to get him just before the healing kicked in. 20 seconds remaining now, 2 points apiece. Sticky bombs in place on the Korean players. 3-2, caught with the big energy blast there as he came out from the sticky blast explosion. 3, 2, 1. China take it 3-2. China take the gold Masters final. overall tournament win for Korea, 13 points to 5, but China take the HADO World Gold Masters final. So phenomenal play there. Really, really, really great use of tactics and abilities. And I think we've got the sort of closing ceremony there and the some of the crowd reaction going on. So overall champions are Korea in the China-Korea Battle of Champions. But phenomenal performance from Chinese teams throughout. And a great finish there with China taking the win in the final final of the tournament. So let's get some presentations. Players been called up for congratulations because that stunning gameplay throughout. From both the Korean and the Chinese teams, so much talent from both of them, absolutely stunning. I mean, the rest of us already knew that Korea and China were going to be big threats in our quest to try to catch Japan, but I think both these countries showing very, very clearly that they're absolutely on Japan's heels and could well be in with a chance of dethroning them from that World Championship position come the 2026 World Cup.
And now, the most intense moment of today. We are about to announce the champion nation. Ladies and gentlemen, hold your breath. Nation with the highest total score is Korea. Now we will present the champion flag. 接下来我们颁发我们的总冠军旗帜。Please welcome Secretary General of the International HADO Federation, Mr. Ken Lee. 有请
Fantastic play there from all the teams. Dominating win from Korea in the PvP. Fantastic results there at the end, and fantastic finish there from the HADO China team in the HADO World, and an overall victory there for Korea in the first China-Korea Battle of Champions. So thank you very much for everyone who's joined and watched. It's been really great having this time to really sort of look at the tactics and understand the characters and the play and the ideas behind the HADO World, as well as seeing the upcoming abilities of the new players from Korea and China in the HADO PvP. So thanks for joining us. Hope you really enjoyed it. Our next UK tournament will be next Sunday, and that is the Spring Cup. So hopefully we will see you there. Thanks guys, bye.
Let's give the biggest. 让我们用最热烈的掌声为冠军喝彩，恭喜他们！ This challenge flag symbolizes the enduring rivalry between China and Korea.